be the deadliest hurricane in Florida's history. The numbers are still unclear, but we're hearing early reports of what may be substantial loss of life.
The destruction is widespread. Ian's landfall as a Category 4 hurricane has devastated Florida from the coast of Fort Myers to the central city of Gainesville.
This was such a major weather event that it's producing 500-year floods.
Homes are flooded, roads and bridges are washed out, and dozens of people are being rescued as people begin to return to their homes.
I'm getting important stuff, my paperwork, my husband's personal things. Because I lost him 2 months ago, and now I've lost my only home. So I'm packing it up.
Now, the storm sets its eye on new targets to the north.
We've got a lot to get to on this busy Thursday afternoon, so thank you for joining us for the news at 6. I'm Jamie Tompkins.
And I'm Hannah Kim. We have team coverage. The Fox 13 weather team is tracking the path of the storm. Caroline Elliott is near Jacksonville, where the storm is about to slam more communities.
But first, we head to Madeline Rivera in the most devastated area, Fort Myers. Madeline, what's the latest we know so far on this devastation?
Hannah and Jamie, the city of Fort Myers is now quiet. The city is under a curfew, and this is for safety reasons and to allow emergency personnel to do their work without any interruptions. And Governor Ron DeSantis says relief and recovery efforts will be a 24/7 operation.
I'm in awe over such destruction. It just is horrible here.
Ian carving a path of destruction along Florida's Gulf Coast. After making landfall Wednesday as a Category 4 hurricane. Now millions remain without power in Florida as search and rescue efforts are underway to help those who did not make it out in time.
If you need to be evacuated, step out of your front door.
FEMA calling the damage in areas like Fort Myers catastrophic, with President Biden saying Ian could be the deadliest storm in Florida's history. The president approving a major disaster declaration for Florida, freeing up aid for recovery efforts.
The federal government will cover 100% of the cost to clear debris and for all the costs that the state has to engage in and expend to save lives.
And as the storm makes its way out of the state, Central Florida has been slammed with flooding rains. Meanwhile, Ian regaining hurricane strength ahead of its second landfall along the Georgia and Carolina coastlines. People there preparing for life-threatening storm surges, flooding, and high winds.
Be weather aware of that and to take precautions now to keep you and your family safe.
And help is coming in from all around the country. A Florida disaster fund has been set up to help the victims, and about $2 million have been raised so far. Hannah and Jamie.
Madeline Rivera, thank you. We now turn to Fox's Caroline Elliott live in Atlantic Beach near Jacksonville.
That is where Ian is heading next. So what are you seeing right now? We do see the trees behind you moving a lot. So what can you tell us?
Well, we are expecting for conditions to get even worse tonight as Hurricane Ian is directly off the coast of Jacksonville in just 1 hour from now. Of course, the biggest concern tonight is storm surge and the potential for flooding. We are starting to see some reports of St. John's River beginning to flood in this area. So again, still a lot of concerns tonight. We know that in the south from us, about 2 hours south from us, cities like St. Augustine did see flooding earlier, as well as cities like Daytona Beach seeing a lot of damage from Hurricane Ian as well. Of course, tonight, rescue crews in Jacksonville are on standby, ready to respond, as well as many federal resources in this area still bracing for the worst to come. Guys.
And Caroline, I'm sure you've talked to people out there. For those who have chosen not to evacuate, how are they preparing for this situation?
Well, we do know that the city has not ordered evacuations at this point, but really, we haven't talked to a lot of people in this area because this area looks like a ghost town today. We've been out here since about 8 a.m. and since then, we've only seen a handful of people walking outside, checking on conditions. Of course, when a storm comes through in Florida, you see a lot of curious people wanting to see what it looks like outside. That's not the case right now. Of course, after we saw those images from Fort Myers from Naples. I think it put a lot of things into perspective for people who live here. So you'll see people really not taking those chances tonight.
That's good to hear, Caroline. Thank you for being out there. Let's go to our Fox 13 weather team now. Obviously, it was tropical storm status a little bit ago, and then now it's back to hurricane. It is a very fluid situation, Lisa.
Absolutely. And so right now, Hurricane Ian is out in the Atlantic. So obviously, we still have the potential for it to continue to strengthen. Right now, wind speeds up to around 75 miles per hour. You can see all of that rain on the northern half of the system, and that's pretty much what we've seen throughout the last couple of days. So watching for that rain total to add up. Right now we have all kinds of tropical storm warnings highlighted in the orange, hurricane warnings highlighted in the pink, which includes South Carolina. So there it is, wind speeds up to 75 miles per hour, slowly moving northeast at around 10 miles an hour. So should make landfall right in between Savannah, Myrtle Beach, heading towards Charleston. Looks like it has shifted a little bit further north here, but notice all that rain on the northern half. So again, watching for those rain totals to add up. The wind speeds already kicking up, and it should make a direct line into Charlotte as it weakens into a low pressure system, and then it continues on its path up north towards areas like Pittsburgh, even DC, seeing some of the rain from this system. We're talking about 5 to 10 inches at the very least. Aaron, we're still seeing winds gusting up to around 60 to 70 miles an hour when it comes to portions of Florida, but watching for that to head and impact the Carolinas.
Yeah, Lisa, it's just amazing the reach of this. And like we heard in the earlier reports out in Atlantic City, people are heeding the warning because they've seen what's happened with this hurricane move through the Florida area. So we'll be tracking this tonight, but we're also